And it is the responsibility of Uganda, of Rwanda, of Burundi, and these countries to guarantee the security and survival of their people. And if the threat, the source of insecurity is coming from the vacuum, the disorder that is in those parts of eastern North Kivu and so on, up to Beni Butembo, these countries have to be concerned. Now, one thing then we have done is to create a buffer. So Kenyans go, the Kenyan contingent goes there. They don't have these localized interests. They are good in Kiswahili, because people speak a lot of Kiswahili down there. They could be, most of Eastern DRC, they speak Kiswahili, they can hear. And is good
maybe
that way to protect the women.
Dialect,
yes,
right.
Just different dialect.
Right.
You can help that way to get children to go to school, to get the women, to the villagers to live a normal life, because there are bad things that happen there, rape and other things, war crimes and other things. That has to be stopped, to create a buffer zone. So you go there first. The mission is not about to fight and harm people. And that's what the Kenyan audience must learn, because the other day they were writing these nasty things they say in Twitter when they're talking to politicians here. It's a very sensitive thing. We are going there to help the children, the women, to get the fighters, to convince them, like what General Pande was doing down there in Liberia, in Sierra Leone and those places, and Angola, to get them to put their arms down. And then to see those that are genuinely refugees that belong to other countries to be repatriated, because there's what you call non-refoulement. You can't force them to go back if they feel there's a threat back home. Then remember, you have to disentangle their terrorists down there, terrorist groups. Like that one I told you, Medina Itawhid wa Mujahideen, and they were sending, including our own National Counterterrorism Center here. We know there are people there planning to carry out attacks here in Nairobi. It's not a joke. So these are very sensitive issues. Our soldiers are not there just to go and shoot people. No. It's not a fight. It's not a competition. Right. It's a way first to keep the militants away. So you observe. So when you call it a peace support operation, it's multifaceted. One is to observe the truce, to ensure that if there's a ceasefire, you create a buffer zone so that no one can abuse that, what you call that line that has been put of that buffer zone.
So they act as a neutral.
Yes, neutral. Yeah, exactly. Then number two, to enable, capital, goods, services to flow, and infrastructure. The more you develop a country, again, taking care of the environment without destroying the environment, because if you have too many, if you go and destroy the environment, then you create environmental refugees. That country is very beautiful, plenty of water, plenty of resources. All we need now is good roads, good communication, investment. Like in Goma right now, Kenya has got a lot of interest there, and the whole of East Africa in that place, and the entire Eastern DRC, because there's room for investment, for exchange, for market, for capital, for exchange of goods and services.
Not just for Kenya, but
for the entire region.
Right.
So we should refrain from castigating Uganda. That's my point.
Okay.
Or Rwanda or Burundi, but to have their buy-in and to help disentangle the problem. Because if there are people there, like I told you about ADF, they're planning to carry out terror attacks in Kampala like they did last year.
Right.
So it has to be handled with a lot of care. And that is why Kenya is being preferred. It's neutral to lead the mission. Right. They have a force commander. They will be given sectors. They will observe. And then there's that level of enforcement where if you see people want to threaten villagers and all this, you can carry out an operation to disarm them. But the best thing is if it is consensual and mutual.
All right.
Yeah.